This is my 35-week GLP-1 weight loss after menopause update. Weight loss update, you probably think I'm here just to talk about how much weight I've lost. Nope. I've been documenting my GLP-1 weight loss journey for 35 weeks. There have been some wins, there have been some struggles. I'm going to tell you about the incredible non-scale victories I've had. I'm rethinking my goals, and stick around to the end because I'm thinking about starting a challenge, but I want to know what you think. Can I sum the past 8 months up in this one episode? I don't know, but I'm going to try. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I usually start with my weekly weigh-in update, and I don't have one this week. Well, I have one, I weighed myself, but I was exactly the same weight. What are the odds? That's happened a couple times before, actually. So I didn't gain or lose any weight this week. And I want to start out by doing a progress report. I'm down 23.6 pounds in 35 weeks. That is, on average, 2/3 of a pound lost per week. Sometimes it's a couple pounds, sometimes it's nothing, but yeah, it's averaging 2/3 of a pound a week. I realized that losing 23 pounds in 8 months is not going to make headlines anywhere, especially because I'm on a GLP-1. I think there are expectations that if you're on one of these medications, you just have really fast weight loss. But that hasn't been my experience, and honestly, that's part of why I keep coming back and sharing my story, because I know now I'm not alone. There are so many of us menopausal women out there on GLP-1s losing fractions of a pound a week. And I'm not here to complain. I'm here to tell you why it's great. I promise, it's great. If you're new here, hi, I'm Bobby. I'm a therapist and an artist, and I am sharing my GLP-1 weight loss journey here on YouTube. I am not a medical doctor, and none of this is medical advice. And even though I'm a therapist, I'm not your therapist. So none of this is mental health advice. This is me sharing my experience and providing information to you. Always consult with your own healthcare providers when you're making decisions for yourself. I'm going to go over some metrics to show you what's changed for me in 8 months. I'm going to tell you about the incredible non-scale victories I've had. And then based on what's changed and what hasn't changed, I'll talk about what's up with my goals. And based on all that, I have this idea in my head to have this kind of challenge. I'll explain more later, but I'm interested to know if any of you would even be interested in joining. Okay, let's start with the changes on my SMART scale. These are the least dramatic results. You already know I've lost 23.6 pounds. And then I get a lot of other data from my SMART scale. I'm going to be looking down so I can look at it. So I've lost 23.6 pounds. My BMI when I started was 31.4, which is the obese range, and it is currently 27.9, which is the overweight range. So I've made progress there. I know BMI is bullshit, but for what it's worth. My body fat percentage, according to my SMART scale, it won't be totally accurate. I talked about this in another episode, but I'm looking at trends, right? My body fat percentage started out at 38%, which is high, and it's at 35%, which is still considered high. My body fat mass, so pounds of fat on my body, was estimated at 79.7 pounds, which was considered in the very high range. And it's currently estimated to be 65.3 pounds, which is still in the very high range. You see what I mean about how this doesn't feel very dramatic? Like I'm still overweight, I'm still in the very high range of body fat mass. My visceral fat index has gone down, so that's great. It's gone from 17 to 14. This is a metric that I wasn't familiar with before I started tracking on my SMART scale, but 12 and under is considered a healthy amount of visceral fat. That's the metabolically active fat that's deep inside, not the stuff that shows, but the deep inside that's around your internal organs. And it's the dangerous kind of fat that is associated with diabetes, heart disease, all kinds of problems. So you want to keep your visceral fat in the healthy range. So mine has gone from 17 to 14. It's getting closer, slowly but surely. The one reassuring thing about that is that the visceral fat index itself goes up to like, I forget if it was like 39 or 49 or something really high. So I was like, okay, if I started out at 17, like that's not so bad. But it's still high, and that makes me nervous because visceral fat is unhealthy. And then finally, my lean mass rate, so percentage of lean mass, has increased from 54.3, which is high, to 57.8, which is standard, which I totally don't understand, because if it was high And then it went up. Why is it not still high or very high? Standard feels like lower than high. I don't know. But the percentage has gone up, which means the percentage of lean mass in my body has gone up. I think that's a good thing. There is a universe where I can look at this and feel disappointed, because for 35 weeks, I've been watching what I eat, taking my shot faithfully every week, going to the gym, lifting weights, trying to get more steps. I'm not doing great on that. I'll talk about that later. It's a lot of effort. And when I look at this, the change seems like it's there, but it seems kind of small. But that's a different universe where I'm more negative and pessimistic. And in this universe where I'm choosing to be more optimistic, I see that I'm definitely making more progress than I did before the GLP-1, when everything was going in the wrong direction. Instead of going down slowly, it was creeping up slowly, even though I was watching what I ate, I was exercising, and like nothing was helping. Things were getting worse. My doctor was starting to tell me, like, we're gonna need to put you on meds for cholesterol and blood pressure, and things were trending in the wrong direction. And now they're trending in the right direction. Is it as fast as I thought it would be? Absolutely not, but it is going in the direction of better health. If you're enjoying this, I would be so grateful if you would hit the like button. It really helps the channel, and it helps YouTube show it to more people who are interested in content like this. Thanks. So I want to show you my lab results, because the scale and the estimates that the SMART scale gives me paint a picture of slow progress in the right direction. But my lab results, I feel like, are more reassuring to me. Well, not the first one, cholesterol. In January 2025, my total cholesterol was 305, very high. And my LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, was 205. My doctor was like, you need to lose weight. You need to get your cholesterol under control or you'll need medication. And January 2025 is when I started GLP-1. My most recent blood test was in July. I'm filming this in September, but these are the most recent labs I have. And my cholesterol has gone down to 251. It's still high. And my LDL has gone down to 162, still high. So I was hoping it might be normal by now after 8 months, but it's not. And I don't know why, but at least, again, it's going in the right direction. However, other two metrics I was really concerned about were my blood pressure and my blood sugar. My blood pressure had always been low normal my whole life. Like, I'm a fainter. I don't even know how many times I've fainted in my life, because it's a lot. I once fainted sitting down when I hit my elbow really hard on the corner of a coffee table. Like, I'm just a fainter because my blood pressure is low, or it used to be. And then it started creeping up after menopause. I could not find a lab showing my blood pressure, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but normal blood pressure is anything at 120/80 or lower. And mine had just gone above that when I saw my doctor last December. That was when it was the first, she was like, your blood pressure is high, but never has been before. And I think it was barely high. It was like, it might've been, in the 120s and in the 80s or something. But she definitely said, your blood pressure's high, you need to lose weight, you need to get your blood pressure under control, blah, blah, blah. And then I started GLP-1, and within a couple months, my blood pressure was normal. So the last time I measured it was in July, and it was 98/68, which is, again, that's what it's been my whole life, is that kind of normal, but on the lower end of normal. And yeah, it's there and it stayed there. So that's wonderful. Very happy about that. And my blood sugar, my glucose, had always been normal my whole life. It started creeping up after menopause, and last January, my glucose was 103. Now, 100 or lower is normal, so it was just barely over, but it was 103, it was pre-diabetic. My blood sugar now, as of July, is 89, which is normal. So very happy about that. These are, to me, much more important indicators than the fact that I'm still overweight, is that I have healthy blood pressure and I have healthy blood sugar. My cholesterol, I'm worried about that, can't lie. I really want to get that lower. I'll talk to my doctor about it. I'll talk to my dietitian about it. But I do feel like the lab results paint a little bit better picture of how I'm in better health now than I was 8 months ago. One thing that might help convey just how much progress I feel like I've made is to share all the non-scale victories that I can think of, because there's a lot of them. And I really value your time. I'm so appreciative that you're here. So I think I'm just gonna listicle my NSVs. My clothing definitely fits better. There are lots of clothes in my closet that didn't fit me that fit me now. There are jeans I can wear. There are sports bras that I wear now, t-shirts, everything. There are certain old favorites that I'm really happy that I could wear again, that I hadn't worn in a couple of years. When I started GLP-1, I was buckling my Apple Watch. Oh my God, I forgot to put it on today. I was buckling my Apple Watch on the very loosest hole, and now when I put it on, it's on the third hole. I already covered this, but my blood pressure's lower, my improved lab numbers, like my cholesterol's going down, my glucose is normal. I was diagnosed with sleep apnea after menopause, and I wear CPAP. My sleep doctor had to turn down the pressure setting on my CPAP sometime in the last couple months because my sleep apnea symptoms have improved. I feel like knocking on wood when I say this, but I am currently pain-free. For the first time, I think in my life, maybe except when I was a newborn, I can recognize now the difference between hunger signals and emotional eating cues. The freedom from food noise has freed up energy and time and space for me to get more on top of things, get more organized. Instead of thinking about food or resisting food, I'm getting organizational systems in place because I've got pretty raging ADHD, and the more organized I am, the less stressed out I am. So that's a huge, very surprising non-scale victory for me, that I have more bandwidth to focus on things other than thinking about food. It's glorious. I lost my craving for Coke Zero. I used to really crave one a day, and I had tried so many times to quit because I feel like it's just not good for you. And I just kept wanting it. And I just really lost my taste for it. I still have it occasionally, but it's really occasional. It's so noticeable. We used to have to buy it every time we went to the store. And now like weeks will go by and we don't need to buy it because it's just sitting there in the fridge. It just doesn't call to me anymore. Exit row seats. Oh my gosh. I always loved an exit row seat because you get more leg room, and I'm 5'9", so leg room, like I don't care about free snacks, free drinks, whatever, but leg room, that's like, you know, gold for me. And on a lot of planes, maybe all planes, I'm not sure, but on a lot of planes, the exit row seats are solid on the sides. I'll put a picture up so you know what I'm talking about. I never even noticed that before, but when I started to gain weight after menopause, I started to have a hard time fitting into there. And so I started to not like exit row seats because I was just really cramped and like squished in there. And the last few flights I've been on, I can sit in an exit row seat and it is totally fine. I'm back, baby. Gotta be honest, the positive feedback from my doctor and my dietitian really warms my heart. They're really happy for me, and that just like makes me feel really proud of myself. When I was doing strength training at the beginning of my GLP-1 weight loss journey, I was using machines and I was kind of intimidated by the free weights, but I'm not intimidated by them anymore. And I go into that part of the gym and I feel like I belong, and I can do barbell deadlifts and squats for the first time in my life. I've done weightlifting and strength training on and off since I was 20, but I had never gotten to the point where I had the guts to do barbell squats and deadlifts and stuff, and I'm doing it now. I'm super proud. I lift groceries and suitcases that I know would have been heavy for me before, and now they don't even feel heavy. When I see pictures of me now, I feel like it looks more like me. When I saw the pictures of me in the past couple years, I was always like, is that what I look like? That doesn't feel like what I look like. And now I feel like they look more like me. I think probably because I hadn't ever been obese before in my life. And so it was like I didn't recognize myself. It wasn't my internal image of what I looked like. So it's not so jarring to see pictures of myself. I'm able to stand and walk longer now without fatigue or pain. I'm certain that's because I'm just not carrying around as much weight. Most notably on vacation, because you know how you do a lot of walking on vacations, and it's just easier now. It's easier for me to find clothes. It's not that there weren't sizes for me, because I think at my biggest I was I was probably a size 14 in denial buying size 12 and it was tight on me. I think that's what was going on. I didn't realize it at the time. So it wasn't that I had a hard time finding the right sizes for me. It was more that I had a hard time finding something that I felt like was flattering on me. And now it's a lot easier for me to find things that I feel like are flattering on me. Like these jeggings that are my new favorite thing. I would have bought them and loved them 23 pounds ago, probably in the same size. They're large. But I think like if I saw a picture of myself in them, I might have thought like, oh, that's funny that I look that way. I didn't think that I looked like that. And now when I see a picture of myself in these jeggings, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's Bobby. That's me. I have a discount. If you are interested in these jeggings, there's a link where if you use coupon code Dr. Bobby, you can get 25% off of them. And I think they're only like $30-something to begin with. So they're a really good deal. They are like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound like a salesperson. If you don't want jeggings, don't get jeggings. But I just don't often find pants that I love this much. They totally look like jeans, and yet they, feel even more comfortable than leggings. That's the list I came up with. I know there's probably more, but that's what I came up with for you. The weight is just not the most important number, right? In my future videos, I'll continue to share weigh-in updates because my weight is sort of the easiest, universally understood metric, and it's the one that changes the fastest. Like to me, I'll be at goal, not when my weight hits a certain number, but when my cholesterol and my visceral fat are in the healthy ranges. So that's really what I'm working towards. But I think that those things won't drop until I do lose more body fat. And so I think my weight will drop. Yes, it's a weight loss journey, but it's really like a get healthy journey. If you're enjoying my channel, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. I love the community of people here and how we support each other in the comments. You don't have to be subscribed to comment, but you'll always know when I have new episodes released if you subscribe, so do it. I'm going to talk now about my goals and what's changing and what's staying the same. So, what goals have I been focusing on up to this date that have got me this far? The main ones were eating 3 meals a day, hitting at least 100 grams of protein a day, getting 25 grams of fiber a day, hydrating properly, strength training, and getting steps. There's a lot of things I was tracking. Some of them are really easy. Like I don't really have to track my water. That was a habit I already had. Staying active is something I really have to work on, and eating enough on Zepbound is something that I have to work on. Where have I fallen short on these goals? I mean, off and on, I think I've fallen short on every goal at different times, but for the most part, I think I'm like meeting most of the goals most of the time. And just the fact that I've been consistent and that I don't quit and that I keep trying, I think has been really helpful. Instead of thinking like, I can't do this. I can do this, but I can't really, I shouldn't say can't, but I'm really struggling to do all the things all the time. I guess that's my way of saying I'm not perfect. Editing Bobby. So it's not that I expect myself to be perfect, but it sort of feels like I'm playing whack-a-mole with my goals, because right when I'm on top of one, like another one gets neglected. And then, so I turn to that one and then something else gets neglected. And I'm not sure if that will always be the case. And is it just me? Is it because I have ADHD? Is it just a human thing? Taking care of myself, like food-wise and exercise-wise and everything, it's just, something's always falling between the cracks. And I don't know if that's just my life. Right now, what that looks like is I'm really having to focus on getting enough calories. And what that means is I'm really having to focus on meal prepping, because if I don't have meals prepped, I can just forget or grab something that might be like 200 or 300 calories, but not enough. So I need to meal prep. I just started focusing on this like a week ago. Well, that's not true. I had fallen off of it and I just started refocusing on it like a week ago. My strength training has been so consistent and I've gotten so much stronger, but you know what's fallen off is anything other than strength training in the activity department. Earlier, I was walking a lot. I was walking on my walking pad really regularly. I was going on outdoor walks. I was doing some gym cardio, like spinning classes and aqua aerobics and stuff like that. Like anything just to get other activity in a couple times a week besides the strength training. And that has just fallen by the wayside. I didn't realize how bad until I looked at my steps to get ready for this episode, and I was like, ugh, I haven't been getting even 5,000 or 6,000 steps a day, which was my minimum that I was trying to hit. And my walking pad, it's like right there. I see it right there. It's in my office. I didn't realize that I wasn't using it as much because I was still getting on it, but I've just sort of, without realizing it, shortened the amount of time I've spent on it. So I had to sort of like reassess and be like, I need to be more active other than the strength training. It's just so funny how quickly habits can fall away, and then, I don't even realize it. This is where my idea came up, to do some kind of step challenge to hold myself accountable. And if any of you out there want to get more steps, I thought it would be fun to do something super simple, nothing complicated, no sign up required. I think I'll just post like whenever it starts, and it's so simple I can get it set up like, a few days after this video airs. If you guys tell me in the comments if you think you'd want to do it, but it'll just be like, I'll post something every day that says if I met my step goal or my walking goal. I don't even know what it is right now, but let's say it's like I'll walk for 30 minutes a day, and so every day I'll post like, I did it or I didn't do it, and then in the comments underneath that post you enter how you did that day. But I just thought it might be a really fun, casual way to hold myself accountable in the whole community to get my steps up, because I know I've done it before. It's just an issue of like habits falling by the wayside and just not thinking about it and just not doing it. And I think if there's a challenge, then I would do it. What do you think? Would that help you too? Let me know in the comments. Most of my goals are staying the same in terms of what I eat and what kind of exercise I want to get. It's just that I've figured out where I need to place a little extra focus right now. So it's the meal prepping and getting enough steps. It doesn't mean that it's not my goal to strength train 2 to 4 times a week. What that means for me, by the way, is I hit my upper body twice and I hit my lower body twice. And if I do that in 2 total body workouts, great. And if it takes me 4 workouts, that's fine too. So it doesn't mean I'm not going to do that, but I'm in like more of a groove now with that. So I need to focus right now on getting my other activity up. And then I'm in a good groove about eating healthy food and getting enough protein, but I'm not in a good groove about eating enough food. And that's where I have to meal prep. So steps, meal prep, those are the goals I'm focused on right now. And in terms of goal weight, it's kind of like what I said earlier, that once I hit like normal cholesterol and normal visceral fat, I'll consider myself at goal. And I do think I have to lose more weight for that to happen because I'm overweight, but I don't know how much. I think it's going to be in the 160s, but I'm not sure. So I don't have a goal weight. I have a goal to get those metrics in the normal range and to stay there. That's my goal. Oh, I have so much I want to share with you, and only so much time to plan and create and edit these videos, that I'm doing something I've been thinking about doing for a while, and I'm doing it. I'm starting it now. I am starting an email newsletter so that I can share extra things with you. Like if you join, the first email has my basic protein smoothie recipe in it, the one I've been using for years, and the one I just keep going back to. And also there's just more personal things that I'm not really gonna share on YouTube that I would share with my email community. Like my daughter's having a baby in a few months, and I'm not gonna put a picture of my granddaughter, it's a girl, on the internet, but I will for sure send a picture of me holding a baby to my email list. That's not for a few months. So if this sounds interesting to you, that you just want to hear more from me than these videos, there'll be a link in the pinned comment and in the description to join my email list. I'm not going to email you more than at the most once a week, but probably more like once every other week. I would love it if you'd sign up. Like I said, link in the pinned comment and the description. Get the protein recipe if you sign up. And remember that you can get 25% off the jeggings with the coupon code Dr. Bobby at Ayuga. Look how stretchy they are. They're just like so stretchy. It's crazy.